everybody. Welcome to East Peoria Raider basketball, coming to you from Allison Gymnasium on the campus of East Peoria Community High School. Raiders playing host to Metamora near the top of the Mid-Illini Conference. They come in with a 19-2 overall record, and East Peoria just got to have that willingness to stay with Metamora as long as they can and not just get buried, which happens when you're playing a 19-2 team and you're rebuilding.
And you know, Matt, the last time these two teams hooked up, it was fairly close through the first quarter, 12-8, I believe, after one quarter. And finally, near the end of the first half and into the second half, Metamora ripped off something like a 24-0 run to create some breathing room. So it's really just about limiting that run tonight and not digging yourself such a deep hole that you can't climb out.
And this is a team that has consistently, I think, gotten more solid as the year has progressed. This is not the team that started the year struggling throughout the Mid-Illini Conference season. They have, I think, become more cohesive throughout the year. Mulhern has really become that go-to guy that East Peoria has kind of been looking for. And this is just not the same team. So on paper, it looks ugly. It is a, what do we have conference record-wise? 1-7 going up against a 6-2 Mid-Illini Conference foe. But that's on paper.
Yeah, you know, the emergence of Sean Mulhern has been a huge plus. But if you look at this whole team, every facet of their game has improved. For example, Ryan Slusher, just introduced there, has done a great job of accepting the defensive role and really, you know, committing to stopping the team's leading scorer. I'm sure we'll see him on Jackson Greaves tonight. The Buckley twins have stepped up. Carson and Kieran both, a little better from the outside, a little better on the boards. And Michael Thompson, here's a kid who, you know, was in the spotlight all fall, just couldn't get out from underneath it no matter what he did because he ran for almost 2,000 yards. But here he's perfectly content to be a role player and be a 5'11 power forward or center guarding the post. So I think that's what we're seeing now is the product of these kids really accepting their roles and learning how to play together. And I think it'll be a better result than the last time these two teams got hooked up.
Well, it's certainly been a process. You look at the history even last year, an East Peoria team that did not win a basketball game. You have a new coach come in trying to establish a new system, strongly emphasizing the defensive end of the floor, and really went 9 deep for a long time trying to see what he had. What pieces do I have? Who can step into what role?
Yeah, Matt's done a good job of figuring out what he's got, and he's done a nice job of mixing and matching those parts too as well. That might be the first time I've seen a Buckley get out jumped this year, though.
We are underway. Chen is a name that you will hear a lot tonight. He is among the Mid-Illini Conference leaders in scoring, averaging 15.7 a contest.
Raiders come out in a nice zone here. So far, except for that skip pass, it's doing a nice job.
Underneath, off of Metamora, and we will go the other way.
I think that was off of David Galandri.
Galandri bats it out of bounds, trying to get it underneath his own hoop. East Peoria will face a
and here's the other key point.
Man-to-man.
Here's the key point. You can't let this, you know, speed you up a little bit. Ryan Slusher's got to take his time working up floor against this press and really value the basketball.
We will talk more about Danny Greaves in a bit, but he is, again, in the realm that we live in now, one that great drive down the lane.
Really nice job by Sean to get to the basket.
Another coach that really emphasizes the defensive end of the floor.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's where Danny's teams have hung their hat on, but they found that defense creates offense, and that's the one thing you've got to limit. Nice pass inside there.
You know, that's good defense by Buckley underneath. If you're going to prevent, you're not being too aggressive. You're just being aggressive enough to go after the ball, and he's not going to score when you're knocking the ball out of bounds.
They gave that foul to Michael Thompson. I would have sworn that might have been Kieran Buckley, but
he is a 71% free throw shooter. We talked about him being near the top of the conference in a couple categories. That's another one. He has gotten himself to the line for 109 shots now. Pressure in the backcourt, forcing a turnover.
And, you know, just a little flustered there, a little rattled, and that's what happens. You got to absolutely keep your cool against the press. It's hard to do, but you just can't let it speed you up.
Metamora down 2-1 early. Open 3. Good ball rotation. Buckley up high for the rebound, and we will come the other direction. Mulhern with the solid drive. Boy, we are flying down both sides of the floor now. Chen up in his first bucket of the game. We talked a little bit last week about playing larger than you are. He is 6'5", but he can elevate.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice look by Ryan Slusher there to find Carson Buckley.
Carson's 3 ball up out. We'll come back the other direction. 1-on-3. Metamora will hold it up. Well, they'll go for the long 3 ball. Not running a lot of offense on this possession. They'll reset. Chen with a baseline drive, and he will kick it back out. Really looking at the perimeter shots on this possession. Rebound pulled down by Michael Thompson.
You know, so far, Metamora's been pretty content to settle for that outside shot, and that bodes pretty well for the Raiders tonight.
We are off to a dribble-shoot start in this one. Dribble-shoot, bucket good. 3 ball, Kennel. Kennel makes it 6-2, Metamora. Whistle and a foul.
Well, that's one way to limit the leading score. Get him in foul trouble.
Greaves, an interesting guy that's been around the Peoria area for a while. Coached Peoria, Notre Dame from 91 to 94. Then went to Mississippi, part of a couple state titles down there. At Gulfport High School, how's this for a coaching record? 106-19.
That is certainly not bad.
Spent some time also in Lawrenceville, Illinois, which is not too far from the Indiana border there. And
good basketball tradition in Lawrenceville.
Yeah, learned a little bit of defense from a guy named Bobby Knight. Became friends with Ron Felling, at that time an assistant at Indiana. And credits the general with a lot of his defensive philosophy, which is straight up man-to-man.
Yeah, Lawrenceville was kind of, even though it was on the Illinois side back then, was pretty much a Hoosier hotbed with Felling's connection to Indiana and all that. So it's an interesting community if you ever get to visit.
Free throw rattles out, so it stays 8-2. Buckley on the far side in front of the Metamora bench.
Nice reversal there by Kieran. Really nice move.
Shots just not going down for either team here. Big drive and a whole lot of contact. Carson Buckley got to pick up that foul. Checking to make sure everything's okay, including tempers. That was a solid collision. Not intentional, but what are you going to do when you're in the air?
Yeah, exactly. Tell you what, Metamora's done a really nice job of just getting the ball out in transition and going. They do not slow down for anybody. Philomack pulled down that rebound and was just gone. One pass and they were up the floor.
Delandry makes good on both, and it's a 10-2 Metamora lead just like that.
And now you start looking for baskets, looking for scores.
Oh, it's Shen showing that speed and instinct for the ball. Comes up with the pick there.
Third turnover already for the Raiders.
Now we talk about shot selection sometimes. You have an open look 3, but that is what I like to see in offense that I don't see at the college level anymore.
No, and
take a step in, get a higher percentage shot or a pass. That is how to run an offense.
Such a high percentage. Now, here's an interesting, they've switched up their zone pressure. They've gone 1-2-1-1. And they're probably going to look to trap out of this, I'm guessing, or at least run and jump.
Yeah, the Raiders are struggling with this full-court press.
Yeah, nice job by Sean Mulhern of splitting that press.
That was a great pass.
Finish by Michael Thompson. Took the contact and finished.
A chance to go to the line here for a three-point play. Joe Cannell picking up the foul for the Redbirds. Free throw is long, and it stays 10-4.
Thought after the girls' game the other night, we had our free throw jinx cured here, Matt.
We are back to some struggles at the line, indeed. East Peoria staying aggressive defensively. Metamora trying this time down a little more patient offensively, trying to find that open look, and the Raiders prevent the two.
Raiders done a nice job on the board so far, even with a bigger, more athletic team. But nice move by Carson Buckley to really get to the basket there.
A little short on the shot. We'll come back the other direction, and a good play. Looked like Ganem, I think, tipped that away. Mulhern drive, right-handed shot up and good.
You know, I think one of the threats with a Metamora team that plays like this, you're kind of playing into East Peoria's hands a little bit because, you know, these kids are built to get out and run. You're not, you know, they've faced 6'8", 6'9" kids all year. They've getting pounded on. By playing this style, they're playing right into Matt Wright's hands. They can get up and down all night. We've got plenty of kids that can run.
I'll tell you what, Carson Buckley has looked good tonight, being aggressive. That will rub off on your teammates.
Oh, absolutely.
He forced that last turnover, gives East Peoria a chance to cut into this 4-point lead. It was 10-2 just a moment ago.
Yeah. Bennett Krim
Three
in the
ball
game
makes
now.
it one. It's up and long.
Nice
Rebound.
job by Kieran
Bang.
Buckley to get in there.
Buckley underneath.
Just couldn't quite
Lose
grasp
it on the end
He
line.
was-
Boy, they are finding a way here to hang tight. As you mentioned, looking good on the rebounds. And Metamora in the black will come back the
another
other
nice,
way.
really getting in the passing lanes. That's 4 turnovers for Metamora now. That's more than East Peoria's got this quarter.
Mulhern spins completely around.
Oh, wow. Kieran Buckley
Again,
almost had
Buckley
that
up
too.
high, showing his athleticism. Metamora comes away across half court. And a push.
Wow, they're going to call hand check on Bennett Krim there, and I just didn't see that. One, it's kind of hard to hand check out of a zone, and two, his hands were up. Maybe with the body, but
We didn't really
that's
give an
unfortunate.
over-under on the whistles tonight, did we?
No, we didn't. Nice skip pass
Boy,
by
they are-
Metamora.
That is well off the mark. Tracked down the rebound, though. Cannell for the Redbirds. Drive up good.
Two Knells. Nice job by Bennett Krim to use that pick, and a really nice look at the corner. A little crisper pass maybe opens Ganem up for that three.
12-6, coming down to 2 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Buckley Ganem.
You know, I wasn't at the first game, but just talking to Matt about, you know, this game, this seems to be a lot like it. You know, that last game ended up 12-8 after a quarter. This is bearing a lot of the same hallmarks. Be interesting to see how East Peoria responds.
Buckley driving, looking for a whistle. I'm sure he's trying to get some contact. And we will come back the other way. Mulhern checks out. He'll get a blow with 1:40 left to play first quarter. The Redbirds on top. Again, really sticking to those perimeter shots. Nice putback up and good. Billimack with a bucket. Easing up a little bit on that backcourt pressure this time down the floor. Last few times down the floor. Buckley way up top.
So far, a third of Metamora's 9 rebounds have been offensive. That's the one thing that might hurt the Raiders tonight.
Right.
Second chance points.
Another long, tough pass. It goes out of bounds.
Both teams even in turnovers now at 4.
Jackson Greaves in the lead for the Redbirds.
Greaves in for Metamora. He is 6'2". If it seems like the guys in the dark jerseys are tall, it's because they're tall.
Nice skip
Boy, they have
pass.
just worked that ball around the perimeter through this whole quarter. Chen with the rebound. There's some contact underneath.
Another example of the offensive boards there.
And you can see the fouls at the top of your screen. 5 for East Peoria. And Chen will be shooting free throws. He is 1 of 2, I do believe. And he makes good on his first one.
Slusher and Mulhern return to the Raiders. J.R. Dixon in the game for Metamora.
And that's going to be another key for the Raiders tonight, keeping Ryan Slusher and Sean Mulhern fresh. And just Hayden Burtis and Bennett Grimm are going to have to give them a little breather every now and then. But for the most part, it's going to be Ryan Slusher and Sean Mulhern on the floor.
Second free throw is good.
Nice skip there by Sean Mulhern. Really nice.
Knocked out of bounds. Nice block by Chen on the defensive end for Metamora.
Kind of wish Kieran would have slowed down a little bit and maybe looked for his twin there. Thought they were supposed to have the same wavelength.
Boy, they have struggled passing the basketball tonight. That has been the difference so far. 16-6, Metamora.
Looks like the Redbirds are going to be content just to let this thing play out in the quarter.
Well, it's early. We got a lot of basketball left, but this is dangerous territory for East Peoria.
Yeah.
To get down 12 double digits here in the first quarter. Push. I think they're going to get
Ryan Slusher,
Buckley,
I believe.
or is it?
Nope.
Carson Buckley, that's his second for East Peoria. It's the 6th.
Carson's second. And we will shoot free throws for the second quarter from the next East Peoria foul. 8 seconds left to play. 3 ball. Looks good, is good. Greaves.
Really nice
Just
job
into
to
the
set
ball
that
game.
up.
That's not easy to do. Sit and watch most of the quarter on the bench and come in and nail the 3 ball. 19-6, Metamora.
That's a 7-0 run by Metamora since East Peoria cut it to 12-6. And again, a lot of hallmarks similar to that first game. So we'll hope East Peoria can draw up something here in the huddle between quarters to maybe stem that tide a little bit. But if they don't, it's going to be a long night.
Metamora victorious in the sophomore game, 73-58, as we prepare for the Mid-Illini cheer, which I'm not sure has changed in the last 25 years. Maybe it has, but I don't think that it has.
Not unless they've had to change to accommodate the addition of Dunlap, but I'm pretty sure it hasn't.
You know, I'm sure this is why they don't pay us the big bucks, but you're a technology guy. Explain to me how the IHSA or the Mid-Illini cannot come up with a system that tracks statistics, that tracks games, that has schedules up to date.
Well, I think the thing you would find the most troubling is that some coaches wouldn't do it. You know, that's kind of the problem you find with sites like Max Preps and whatnot right now, where you know, only certain coaches use it. So, you know, you see kids who average 25 points a game, and that ranks them, you know, top 100 in the country, but it's, you know, only half the schools are reporting. So I think that would be the problem. And there are some coaches who would be too lazy, and there will be others who wouldn't want to do it for fear it would wreck their chemistry. You know, when I was at the Journal-Star writing baseball, you know, Olympia was one of the top teams in the area, but Ron Smith would never give me stats until they had been eliminated from the state tournament because he didn't want his players getting stat happy. So,
well, even now, I mean, you look at the Mid-Illini conference leaders as we see a nice backdoor
really
cut.
nice
Mulhern
lead.
a little long on the layup, but they're 12 games. East Peoria's played 18 games. The EP stats are through 12 games. And I know that it's, you know, there are guys that cover the games. It's just an information technology world that we live in. But, you know, you talk about Max Preps. Ron Kelch is still the coach, according to them. I mean, that, you know, that's the trouble with maintaining things quickly and
well,
in the manner that
and
they
the
need
other
to be.
issue, and the Journal-Star has actually, I was there when they tried to implement a stat-keeping system for football and basketball. And the problem was there's no set software. We were going to have a local man by the name of Jason Plank write all the software. So it just became really cost. Oh, goodness gracious.
And a scary moment here as Mulhern comes down very awkwardly. I think it's just interesting to me that we have a number of different sources to find our information out. From local newspapers, you have the Courier and Journal Star and things like that, that, as you say, we don't have a coordinated system or ability to give that information to the public.
Yeah, it's something that probably needs to be done, but they've just struggled to make that happen. So it's not for lack of trying. It just really got to figure out how to make the system work.
I'm sure it's the IHSA's lack of money. That has to be one of the reasons.
You know, the IHSA has made a lot of advances in terms of, hiring Matt Troha to be their media relations director. I'm sure that's something he's proposed. It's just one of those things that, again, unless every coach is going to report, you don't want to do it for fear. It's always going to be a problem if somebody's stats are off or whatnot. Heck, there's even been problems with the way they've eliminated all the seating meetings now for sports, and now you just put your goodness gracious.
Foul on Slusher, East Peoria.
But in eliminating those seating meetings, there's no chance to sit there and kind of make your case. You just put your results in, and they rank you. And even worse, it takes out some of the, guts factor. It used to be everybody knew who was voting for what, and everything was on the up and up. But now, for example, take our girls basketball team. They've been a little up and down, but overall they've been pretty good. Nice win over Manual, big win over Limestone, and all those teams are here in the regional, and yet we're still the 4th seed. So, there's just a real, and that was because Central voted us 5th in that regional, despite the fact that we had those wins. So, just a real tough effort to get all these coaches involved in the games.
Chen with another Metamora rebound after the Mulhern miss on 3. I just think it's fascinating to me that if you want to look up current stats on a team, it's hard to find.
It is, and that's that's just kind of the way it goes, The world, the high school sports world is caught between the old way and the new way.
Yeah.
And it used to be as simple as calling your scores in, and for years, Steve Asham at the Journal Star would just, every night, he would go through and update everybody's score or everybody's passing yards or whatever. And Ash passed away, so they had to find somebody new, and they're still willing to do that, but it's a lot of work to do it manually, whereas if we had the input, we could just
well, and that's the other reality, is we are in such a technological world. We're technologically dependent, and so when you don't have that guy to coordinate that effort, regardless of the technological advances you have, you still have to have that willingness and the staff, and we all know those get cut consistently. So it just is fascinating to me. It's not a criticism of anything. It's just an observation that in the world that we live in, it's hard to track those things down. Did East Peoria win last week, or did they not win last week? Those little things like that you think would be so readily available are often not.
Nice floater by Greaves there. If I was a smarter man, that's how I'd retire from teaching, would be to write that software. It's like we were discussing the other day during our lunch break. Oh, nice jump stop there by Sean Mulhern. about how little money it actually costs to create an app on like an iPhone, and how much money they make on those apps. I think it was like if you paid the average programmer was paid like between $500 and $750 to write the software for an app, and then of course they're charging $1.99 for everyone downloaded. You're in the millions,
Right.
So really incredible.
Absolutely.
Jackson Greaves down again. This game has gotten pretty physical. Really, really unfortunate. It's going to be some scary moments, and I'm afraid if the refs don't try to get a little tighter handle on this, and they've done a good job of calling a fairly tight game so far, but I have a feeling they're really going to need to clamp down on this game before it gets out of hand.
Insult to injury, that's the fouls on Greaves.
Absolutely. Can't tell if that was an angle or maybe a hip pointer.
Yeah, it's hard to tell and it's easy to speculate, but it appeared the way he went down that he was hit where you certainly don't want to get hit. (29-8), Metamora lead. Mulhern kicks
Nice
it out
job
to
by Sean
Buckley.
Mulhern to kick that
Nicely
out.
done. Carson's three-pointer makes it 29-11. And the Raiders end a scoring drought of 4 or 5 minutes of game time action. Bucket by Mulhern ended it.
Almost read that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Speaking of three, up long. Shot was off by Martin, and will come back the Raider way here.
Nice crossover by Bennett Krim, and another good kick out there. Boy, I wouldn't mind Mitch Ganim shooting that at all.
Raiders working that perimeter.
And this is what I meant a little earlier when, that quick pace was kind of playing into Metamora's hands. They've really ground East Peoria to a halt and not let them get out and run on offense, which was what was keeping them close.
Shen kicks it back out, and Metamora looking for that open shot. Every time three ball is up and good by Golandri. It is 32-11. So Metamora picking up where they left off in that first quarter. Jim Madsen in the house. They were talking shot selection on their show the other day in regards to Illinois, and it's fascinating to listen to people like John Gross, Illinois' new coach, talking about the fact that he thought they had good shot selection, but it's sometimes irritating to watch a team that can't shoot three-pointers continue to launch three-pointers. And I know that they have to be running some level of offense, but that was puzzling to me.
I wholeheartedly agree, and every time I hear Gross talk about that, I think back to watching Brandon Paul just step in and launch like a 30-footer last night against Michigan State. Just got to be thinking to myself, that's not in the playbook.
It has to be a low bar of what is a good shot.
Yeah. Raiders get sped up a little bit here again. This might help. Now, granted, they would generally like to have seen him put up a shot by now.
Buckley three is long.
Oh, nice. Oh.
Almost two open. Scully underneath.
Aaron Scully, God bless him.
You almost go up in those situations expecting or waiting for contact.
Yeah.
Cannell, top of the key, getting some pressure. Picks up the
dribble.
dribble.
Rattled there by Ganim's pressure. Good job by Mitch.
Buckley almost with a pick. A lot of contact here.
Boy, Metamora's doing a nice job of back picking off those Wow.
Redbirds with a couple more offensive rebounds, and we will come back the other direction. East Peoria inbounding after the foul on Chen. It is his first. And East
Nice
Peoria.
job by Michael to
Nice
find that
pass.
cross court. Probably should have pushed it on ahead to Carson Buckley there. Nice job by Bennett to get in the paint. Good kick. Oh, goodness. Got to shoot that.
Hip check. Foul on the play. And both teams now in the bonus after this inbound. So 6 fouls on the Redbirds, double bonus. When Metamora gets the ball back.
I think Aaron Scully just threw an EPCHS pass.
Shot up long, rebound, kick it back out, and Thompson kips it up.
Nice job by
And we
Mitch
reset.
Knim on the offensive boards there to get East Peoria second possession, but another turnover. I might not be on the right count. I think I've got 7 right now for the Raiders in the turnover category, which seems like it might be a little low. I had them for 5 alone in the first quarter.
Under 2 minutes left to play. Second
Nice job
quarter,
of high
that's a
loading
great
by Metamora.
lob
That's
pass
a
underneath.
great- Oh, wow. That's over the back.
Could have been a foul on Billimack, but they let him play that one out.
Buckley for Buckley there.
1:47 left to go. Metamora comfortably out in front, 32-11. Underneath their own hoop. Canal into Chen, and
Oh, wow,
an
gonna get him for
offensive
hooking.
foul. They get Chen on that?
I think he got him for the hook. Well, I haven't seen that called forever. That just looked like a pretty good move. I didn't think he really got around him there.
It was the second time this year I've said we're in the bonus, and then we get a player control foul that doesn't result in the bonus. I don't know what that pass was and at the wrong spot. I know that he looked up and saw Aaron Scully, but they have struggled passing the ball tonight. Now we'll shoot free throws. Billimack slow to get up. He is still collecting his thoughts.
That was a pretty physical play there by Kieran Buckley.
Eyes are watering.
Ronnie Leitner administering the check there. Anytime I see one of those tests, I always think of Varsity Blues. How many fingers is he holding up? Wait. It's got to be a true or false question.
Free throw is off. First one is no good. Second one rattles home. And it's 33-11.
Boy, just a tenacious trap
there.
there. Great job by Sean Mulhern to draw the foul, though. He had that thing broke even if he didn't draw the foul.
Typically, they always coach you cannot dribble through the press, but there's an exception to every rule.
Absolutely. Sean Mulhern's the exception to a lot of different rules.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes good on the first free throw.
If Sean was about 2 inches taller, I think he'd be a regular candidate for highlight of the night. So I'm pretty sure we'd see a bunch of backdoor alley-oops for him.
Second one no good. We're down to 122 left to go in the half. 33-12. Metamora out on top. Mulhern has put his name among league leaders in a couple different categories as well this year. Coming up with a couple of assists a game, 2.2 assists per game, and 1.3 steals per game.
Raiders are really dragging right now out of this zone. You can tell they're pretty winded. And again, another nice high-low with the sag there. Good option by Billimack.
Open look.
Follow his shot there.
Follows his shot.
He's got 3 offensive rebounds on his own and 7 for the game. Nice job by Kieran Buckley not to let that contact get
just
in there.
couldn't get to fall. Tired legs indeed. 30 seconds left to go. First half, it is 35-12 in favor of Metamora.
Oh, goodness.
Went for the pick. And Galandry remains down, slow to get up.
3 fouls now on Kieran Buckley.
This has been a clash. This has been keeping the trainers busy, making sure the kids are safe and okay. Free throw number 1 is off. Maintaining that backcourt pressure with that big lead. Contact at the other end. 3-point opportunity
nice
for
Buckley. To
Buckley.
get to the rim there. So the clock stops with 21 seconds left to go in the half, and Buckley completes the 3-point play. It's 36-15. Redbirds out on top. If this score holds, Raiders will have been held to single digits in the first 2 quarters. 3 seconds left and lost it out of bounds. He stepped at the end line, and East Peoria will have 2 seconds to work with here. Gonna have to run a little bit of a fly pattern here, which Sean is not unusual for Sean.
Mulhern's heave. There's the buzzer. It's a little left, but a good look. So it is 36-15 at the break. I want to thank our crew quickly here as we go to break. Mark Laswell producing, director is Dave Gibbons, cameras we've got Daryl Dixon, Susan Dixon, Paul Cousins, and running the graphics and the scoreboard, Brett Wagner. Thanks for tuning in. We will be back for the second half of Raider basketball on Eastside Community Television, cable channel 22.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. But so is the solution.
Give a gift of meals to a family in need. Visit feedingamerica.org/giveameal today.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Or you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Bethany Ann Doak. Ian Donnelly. Kirsty Lynn Duthit.
And welcome back to Raider basketball. We are about a minute away from the start of the second half. Metamora comfortably out on top, 36-15.
A few stats from the first half here, Matt. Metamora shot 11 of 25 from the field, 3 of 10 from beyond the arc, 11 of 14 from the free throw line, 20 rebounds, 6 of them offensive. Their offensive rebounds are almost as many as East Peoria's 8 total rebounds. Leading scorer for the Redbirds, Tianan Chin, with 9 points and 3 rebounds. For the Raiders, 6 of 22 from the field, 1 of 6 from beyond the arc, 2 of 3 at the line, and 8 rebounds. Leading scorer is Sean Mulhern with 7 points.
It's interesting, they both of these, with having new coaches, you do have interviews that are around from these changes. And one of the things that Greaves has mentioned on more than one occasion is the 2 things that drive him nuts are being told we're in a rebuilding year or we are a football school. Well, and yet he comes to Metamora.
Yeah.
But there's not a reason to expect a lack of a basketball team. And he has, I think, really instilled a different level of competitiveness to this program.
He's done a nice job. You know, the whole thing that was always kind of an interesting dichotomy at Metamora was, you know, people always thought that Pat Ryan didn't want the basketball team to be successful or anything like that. Pat Ryan's not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, Danny Greaves has come in and done a nice job of working out the summer schedules, making sure everybody's where they need to be, and really working to make sure that both programs can be successful. And there's no reason they can't be.
It is tough, man. I think that in today's culture, in today's world, I don't know if there's too many jobs more difficult than being a high school basketball coach. With the expectations of parents, balancing grades, schedules, competing interests. You know, Morton is struggling right now with an uncharacteristic season. They've had some kids get in trouble, maybe join a different sport, so they sit out that season.
Yep.
Well, that's not going to fly with some of these coaches.
Right.
If you're going to be punished, you're not going to join water polo and get out of your punishment. So, I mean, it's just a difficult, I think, mantle to try to take in today's world.
Well, really, any high school coach is facing a difficult challenge
absolutely.
these days. You know, and so much of it starts with, one, the parents' unrealistic expectations, and 2, communication from the kids. You know, back when I was running summer baseball, we told the kids, go to your open gyms, go to 7-on-7, go play with your Legion team. But if you're going to be gone, communicate with your coaches. And so we'd get on the road, and you'd hear, well, did you tell them where you were going to be this weekend? No. You know, it's just like, well, then you don't have anybody to be upset at but yourself. You know, of course they're going to be upset because they expect you to be there.
Shen makes it look easy at the other end.
Nice crossover by Sean Mulhern. Kind of a quick shot there by Carson Buckley.
Again, good ball movement.
Ooh, nice block by Ryan Slusher.
Nice defense by
Good job
Slusher.
by Slusher to get a piece of that ball. The student section has somehow grown after halftime.
It has grown. Well, there again, competing interest. You have a lot of other options for your fan base, for your parent base, to support your program.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it, I don't think it helps that we split the crowds tonight. Why not have the boys and girls varsity teams from Metamora down here for a doubleheader tonight, pack the place, and send the freshman and sophomore teams over there tomorrow for a quadruple header of boys and girls, freshman and sophomore basketball.
Well, yeah, well, I've already, I'm not trying to be critical of anybody, but people with common sense are typically not in leadership roles.
Except for Chuck Nagel. Chuck Nagel is the man for this job. Josh Ebner, also the man for this job. Lori Laredo deserves to be where she is. They are in no way indicative of that statement. Love my job.
But they're at the mercy of other entities making schedules and arranging buses and things like that. I think I just saw that the IHSA is now following me on Twitter.
They heard you misspeaking of them. The word has gotten out.
43-17, Raiders trying to claw their way back into this one.
Marty Hickman is all-knowing and all-seeing. All hail our IHSA overlords.
Well, at this point in the game, you might see Matt Wright trying to, again, establish who can do what here. We're down. We're in a tough position. Sliding some guys into some more minutes here and see what happens.
And some of that's out of necessity, but you're right. In a game like this, you're always looking to take away something. I can't even remember who it was. I can remember covering a basketball game about 5-6 years ago, and the guy said, took a timeout game like this, and he said, tonight we get better. We're going to work on things and get better. We're not going to hang our heads. We're not going to, sulk up the floor. We're going to work and get better. And that's kind of attitude you got to take in a game like this, Run the offense, find out who's willing to do what, who's willing to keep playing hard when the chips are down.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great rebound
nice
up
job
underneath
by
Buckley.
Carson Buckley. Just couldn't quite get it to go.
Three ball up and off by Galandri. Krim back for East Peoria. And the Raiders will inbound under the Metamora hoop.
I didn't realize we had a competing TV station here. You want to go all Jets and Sharks on them?
I thought you were going to say I didn't realize that they kept the door open at the main entrance.
That's a little chilly, too. I'm not going to lie.
In theory, some snow in the forecast tonight.
Yeah, it's, maybe an inch or two. Goodness knows we haven't seen any of it yet this year.
No, I think my kids think I'm making things up when I say we used to sled when I was a kid.
Yeah. Nice job by Ryan Slush to knock
Big
down that
ball.
open three. That's just one of those things that's an added bonus with him. He knows his job is to defend, but when he can do that makes his team a little better. And that's an example of what we're going to do tonight. We're going to find out who's involved in their game to do, to be able to do some more things.
Well, and it's pushing through it. You know East Peoria is tired at this point physically.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they've still only gone 7 deep, and we've got foul trouble.
Yep. But they've not let up on the intensity. The body is not always willing to cooperate, but
right.
We've been, I'll speak for myself, I've been critical at times of some of the officiating. These guys have done a nice job being very consistent. There's not been any sense
no, there's been no questionable calls.
Didn't have control of the game. It's been physical, but they have been very consistent with what they call the foul.
I would agree wholeheartedly.
Metamora timeout. 45-20 is the score with 3:43 left to go. Well, we have an interesting ball game for the girls' side coming up next weekend. The Morton Potters, the Mid-Illini Conference champion, 12-0 in the conference.
Yes.
Morton Potters, Lady Potters, coming into town. They tootled on down to Galesburg over Martin Luther King holiday and went 5-0 to win that tournament for the third year in a row. And they will bring a high level
titles in a row too.
Yeah. They will bring in, not unlike tonight, a level of just high caliber basketball to the Lady Raiders. That is going to be a tough matchup. Coach Becker has just done a great job with them over the years. And
well, and the scary part is, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, their starting point guard is a freshman in Chandler Ryan, and so, you know, it's almost just like the cycle perpetuates over there. You know, you get I forget the young lady's name, Tracy Pontius, you know, who's I think at Bradley now, or maybe at Ball State, I can't remember which. But, you know, you get that, and then you get a Sarah Livingston who's going to University of Illinois on a volleyball scholarship, and then Chandler Ryan. So it's just amazing how much they keep getting talent
up
through there.
Good. That counts. Krim will go to the line to complete the three-point play.
Really nice job by Bennett to finish with contact there. That's really tough to do, you know, to keep your wits about you after you've been hit and finish that play. Good job by Bennett.
And on a more serious note, our prayers, condolences to Coach Becker. He missed that last clinching game. Father-in-law passed away, so he was not able to be in attendance for that game. They interviewed some of the players. They said he's missed one practice in 14 years, so it was odd not having him around. But it has been a tough year for a lot of folks. We didn't get a chance to talk about it a lot as we see Metamora at their end with an offensive foul. Jim Maloof passed away, a big icon in the Peoria area, and I had only met the mayor on a number of occasions, but I know the last time I met him and hung out with him was out at an event called Whitney's Walk, which elevates suicide awareness among teens. And he looked up and said, "Hey, Matt, how you doing?" Which struck me as amazing. The thousands of people that guy has met, and he did that with everybody.
Oh,
he
yeah.
just was it's a huge loss for the community. There just aren't folks like that around much anymore, and
not at all. Oh wow, a 10-second call, and that's unusual. Back to your point, Matt, though, you know, my family moved here when I was 14 years old. There were two people my dad made sure to introduce me to, and I met them at the same place. Peoria Chiefs opening day 1992, he introduced me to Pete Van Aken and Jim Maloof.
Pete's the other one, eh? and they're you know, absolutely, yeah.
The mayor, every time I saw him, still remembered meeting me at that ball game. It was amazing. I mean, you're right. He just had a knack. He was the ultimate people person. So is Pete, for that matter. Two of the best.
Redbirds slowing it down here. They're up 45-23. See if the Raiders come out and contend. They will. Maintaining that pressure.
That last possession, you saw a little bit of an example of, you know, getting better and working on stuff. That was a 2-3 zone with a nice little run and jump trap there at the middle. So that's, you know, clearly they're working on getting better.
Rare mental mistake. That was just one pass too many, trying to do too much there. 45-23. Almost throws you off when you pull yourself out of your offense like that.
Absolutely.
Out of your rhythm. Mulhern gives it up. Krim at the top of the key. Three-pointer up. Bounce it nil. We'll come back with the Redbirds in control of the basketball. And a 22-point lead here. 45-23. We are under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter.
I'm a little surprised Danny Greaves hasn't gone with a little bit of a bigger rotation here. Still seeing a lot of those same guys that started the game.
It is, and you see them running a little bit of clock, but I agree with that.
They haven't, you know, it's been a while since they put up a three-pointer or something like that, so they're definitely making an effort trying to run some back picks and things like that, run the clock, but still.
Third foul on Slusher, the foul pace has slowed here as we've really moved along pretty quickly here in the third quarter.
Yeah, we have. Nice look there by Billimack. Might be mistaken, but I think I hear the Metamora players counting out the number of passes on the bench. Maybe that's the student section. I can't quite tell.
Joe Cannell. 47-23 as we wrap up the third quarter here. Under a minute left to play, third quarter. Krim has gotten some minutes tonight.
You know, Bennett's played well tonight.
Yeah.
You know, just to, oh boy, don't foul here, Ryan. Nice challenge by Ryan Slusher, but you definitely don't want to foul there. Good job by him to kind of keep his balance.
Mulhern.
Nice finish by Sean Mulhern.
Down to 23 seconds left to go in the quarter. It's 49-25. Metamora out on top.
Redbird's running a little set here as the clock winds down.
Down to 8. Dribble drive inside out.
Nice job
Three
by
ball
Cannell.
is up and long. Krim with the rebound. He will
Bennett
launch
Krim had time to get about
half-court
three doubles
shot.
closer.
And that'll bring us to the end of the third quarter. 49-25.
We'll have to see what Matt Wright decides to do here in the fourth quarter. I could see him deciding to get some minutes for the younger guys and maybe getting them a little work. I could also see him trying to, you know, work this thing even deeper and really run some stuff to in game conditions, I guess. You know, you're always in practice, you know, the defense can soften up a little bit or somebody goes easy on a buddy. But here you're going to get people guarding each other pretty hard. So maybe that's what he'll decide to do as well.
Well, Super Bowl weekend upon us. Any thoughts on the predictions as far as the
I think a Harbaugh is going to win it.
I would agree with that.
But I think it might be Jack Harbaugh, the father.
It's a fascinating lineup. Matchup. It's a team that is playing their best football of the year in Baltimore. In offense, of all things.
Yeah.
Against a team that is looking really, really hard to stop offensively. So it could be an entertaining ball game, to say the least.
There's a lot of different storylines. This is probably the most interested I've been in a Super Bowl in a long time. Really looking forward to watching the game with Raiders football coach Doug Martin.
And sports has become almost like politics, where leading up to a major event, you're going to have a hit piece on somebody.
Oh, my goodness.
So we have the hit pieces coming out on Ray Lewis and Dan Marino, a commentator.
I read the Sports Illustrated report on the deer antler spray, and just that gentleman's attitude where, you know, the Alabama and LSU and all those schools have issued cease and desist orders not to contact their players. And just his attitude, that's the worst kind of person possible. And to me, it robs him of all credibility.
Yeah.
Say what you will about Ray Lewis, but, you know, I just don't see this being the case. And I just don't see how deer antler spray is healthy for anybody.
I always wonder when I read things like that, who's the first guy that says, you know, let's see what deer antler spray does.
Yeah. Let me grind this up, liquefy it, and just inhale it.
I think about that with things like mushrooms. Like, who was the first guy that thought, you know, that fungus might be edible? But deer antler, I mean, I've never heard of such a thing.
The scary part is there's a whole list of things that didn't work that I don't want to know about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fairly certain someone out there once tested a hypothesis on whether, you know, cow poop had medicinal properties,
yeah.
You know.
Garber makes both free throws. It's 51-25. Buckley 3-ball rattles out. Looked good, just a little off.
That was a nice stroke by the.
It was.
By Carson. They've done a really nice job of working on their shots. You know, they're trying to become well-rounded basketball players. They're still growing, still maturing. You know, you see Carson and Kieran getting bigger all the time, and I think it'll eventually the light will go on for them. I just don't know when.
Redbirds with another turnover. East Peoria with the basketball again. Down to 6 minutes and 35 seconds left to play in the contest. It has been all Metamora tonight. 19-6 lead at the end of one. And the Raiders just playing catch-up from that point on.
Boy, and they have just been stone cold from the floor.
A lot of contact.
That's got to be a
underneath
travel
and
or something.
Timeout, Metamora.
Danny Greaves finally gets timeout. He's a little frustrated. Yeah, I agree with Danny Greaves. That has to be something. I don't care if it's a travel, a block, something. That's really the first time I've had an issue with the officiating tonight. I think Ron Leitner's going to go out and quiet him down a little bit.
It's been interesting. There has been a lot of inadvertent contact, for lack of a better description. A lot of collisions. A lot of guys in the air fight with nowhere to go. We're fortunate that we haven't had anybody get hurt.
You know, they've just been playing hard.
Right, right.
And things like that are going to happen when you have kids playing hard. You got to kind of, as a referee, you got to determine, you know, was it malicious? Was it just, you know, and I understand that. And that's all being processed at a much faster pace than even I'm speaking, you know, in terms of, you know, what's going through your head. But that was definitely one instance where I think something should have been called.
Raiders applying some pressure in the backcourt themselves. Got Burtis into the ball game here for East Peoria. 6 minutes left to go in the ball game. They are maintaining that pressure.
They're doing you know, even as Metamora is trying to run some clock here, the boys are right there. I mean, they're doing a really nice job working in the half court. I did not see that.
Well, I'm not an expert lip reader, but I think the word "no way," I guess that's 2 words, came from Mr. Greaves' lips. Easier to brush off. Up 51-25.
Yeah, that makes it a little easier to take. Starting to see a lot of youngsters here for East Peoria.
Meeks in for East Peoria.
There we go. Nice job by Jacob Burtis to get that shot to fall.
Burtis makes it 51-28. Again, inside-out ball movement.
Wow.
Dangerous contact.
Probably could have been a 4-point play there, too, yeah.
Nate Cannell makes it 54-28. That's just the way things have gone for East Peoria. Get some younger kids into the ball game, hit a nice 3-point basket, and Metamora answers with a 3-ball of their own. 54-28, 2-point shot in the middle of the lane.
Nice job by Reed Meeks to grab that rebound.
Meeks up high for the board. He comes across half court. Scully looking for help. He'll give it up into the corner. Just a little bit short on a 3-ball, actually.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, nice no-look pass.
Nice no-look pass there from number 5.
Garber, Alex Garber.
Alex Garber, yeah.
And here comes the Metamora bench.
Dixon, Heinley, and Stott. Sounds like a law firm.
Well, now if he scores, does Metamora get the assist?
Yeah.
He does score.
Nice job by Bryce Markham there to get that steal and layup. Still not sure why Danny Greaves is calling timeout. Goodness gracious.
It is 54-30, 4:29 left to play. Thanks again to our fantastic crew. Mark Laswell producing, Dave Gibbons directing, Daryl Dixon, Susan Dixon on 2 of our cameras, Paul Cousins on another camera, Brett Wagner running the graphics and the scoreboard. They've given him a bit of a break on the fouls.
Possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I like your note. I won't share with the class, but that's a good note. $54.30, you'll have that. Again, part of this is just a change in culture. I don't think that, I know for a fact that Matt Wright has consistently said when he refers to last year, it is not a reflection on Ron Kelch or anything that happened last year. It is just the reality of doing things a new way.
Well, you know, I think last year was a classic example, and unfortunately this tends to happen in a lot of different areas. A few bad apples spoil the bunch.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't think last year's seniors had a lot of stock in this, and a lot of stock in the program. And Matt came in, you know, with the goal of changing the culture. And I think that's an admirable goal for the whole school. You know, I think a lot of times our kids just, you know, they buy into what everybody else tells them, that, you know, you're East Peoria, you're not as good as Pekin or Metamora or whatever, you know, in whatever sport you're talking about, and it's just not the case.
Well, I had a chance a little bit as we were talking, getting ready to go on the air here, that talked to Kevin Metzger for a bit after the girls' game last weekend. Of course, he was here at East Peoria coaching the boys program for a number of years, and you know, he was faced with a very similar situation and just changing a culture of, if you want to call it mediocrity, or just accepting that, well, we're not going to be very good this year. He was able to come in and get some kids try out for that team that were just great athletes. That helped him turn the corner.
But it always helps to have 2 6'8" guys and an all-state point guard. And the 2 6'8" guys going Division I. Nice job. Oh, Hayden Burtis just couldn't get that one down. Really nice job to get to the rim, though.
And we talked about the difference in basketball over the years. It is almost as if the roles have reversed in the boys and girls sports, in that you hear of the multi-athlete, multi-sport athlete on the girls' end almost more frequently than you do on the guys' end anymore.
There's far too much specialization in sports these days, and you know, I as somebody who coaches at the college level now, you know, we look for that multi-sport athlete. We think there are attributes that can, you know, help you in baseball that you pick up in football, that you pick up in basketball, and we want those kids to play as many sports as possible, because that's how you learn to compete, how to play the game, how to win. Nice job by Aaron Scully. Great take by El Presidente.
Scully makes it 60-32.
Side note about Aaron Scully, has no rhythm and he's not afraid to show it. His dancing has been the focal point of the last 3 class of 2014 homecoming skits. I thought nobody could Bernie worse than I could, but then Aaron proved me wrong.
Don't get me started on pep assemblies. We were one of the few classes that ever got banned from pep assemblies. Tell you, the students are not high in number, but they are supporting their team and doing a great job tonight. It's fun
no
to watch.
coincidence that I see some of my favorite students over in that group. Brooke Franklin, Matt Rundle, Amanda Frisbee, Kelsey Terrell, all great students.
Big 3-ball. Burtis.
Between the Burtis brothers and Bryce Markham and Aaron Scully, you know, there's some things going right
Scully
now.
Again. A little bit of contact. They're letting him play it out. And there
nice
is
job by Bryce
foul.
to go up and try to put that back. He could have pulled that back out. Nice job by Bryce to be aggressive there.
And the Redbirds up 25. We'll take a timeout here with 1:55 left to go in the contest.
Matt Wright's got to be
pleased.
pleased.
You tuning in to this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Matt Wright's got to be pleased with the way these younger kids have played. You know, they've been pretty aggressive and done some nice things, so that bodes well.
Well, speaking of Sports Illustrated, while we got a second here, I do have one last useless piece of information to pass along to you, the audience. William Taft, guy who is a mascot that finally won at the Washington Nationals game, had a little bio on him. Interesting little tidbit. Rather hefty gentleman, 300-plus pounds. Inauguration day, which is, we just passed that.
The infamous stuck in a bathtub.
Stuck in the bathtub. Took 4 men and a pound of butter to pry the president from the bathtub.
Oh, wow.
So somewhere in Trivial Pursuit land, perhaps.
It's one of those you just file away. Just file away. That's for a pie piece later on in life. That's a clincher.
I'll take odd government facts for $400, Alex.
Yeah. Wow. Garber's done a nice job since he came in the ball game.
8 points very quickly.
Hayden
Nice
Burtis,
touch.
nice
Burtis.
job. I'm telling you, these youngsters can play a little bit, and we saw that earlier in the sophomore game, Nice hustle, nice dive on the floor there. Oh, goodness, that was a walk, though.
Going to the left hand, another pull-up jump shot. He is on fire.
I could be mistaken, but I believe that young man is related to former ICC women's basketball coach Steve Garber. Could be his son, and that would not surprise me that he's playing that well like this.
Boy, what a spin move. 12 points off the bench. 12 points in about the last 8 minutes this quarter. 48 seconds left to go.
A lot.
He'll go back to the free throw line.
Gracious.
Misses the free throw. Got the second one.
Rattles the second one in there.
47 seconds left to play. Raiders have been impressive in their willingness to just stay with it, man. They've just continued to fight hard. The offense has struggled. They struggled with the passes early in the contest. As you see the layup at the other end for Metamora. But that goes a long way, that willingness to never stop.
Boy, another nice job by Hayden Burtis to get to the rim. Yeah, I mean, these young kids have done a really nice job of playing hard. I mean, Jacob Burtis tried to steal it there.
And that will do it. (69-41) as you see, your final score right there. So with that, the Raiders fall to 1-8 in the Mid-Atlantic Conference. Metamora improves to 7-2 and have notched their 20th victory of the season. And we will hear more from Metamora in the postseason, we're sure. Thanks again to our fantastic crew. Any final thoughts on this one?
On to the next one.
Onward and upward. We will say goodnight from Allison Gymnasium. Thanks again to our tremendous crew, Mark Laswell, Dave Gibbons, Daryl Dixon, Susan Dixon, Paul Cousins, and Brett Wagner. They make all of this possible. We appreciate everything they do. So, on their behalf, thanks for tuning in to East Peoria Raider Basketball on Eastside Community Television, cable channel 22.